Griffith, once home to the most wondrous kingdom the world had ever known, blasted to nothing in just a fortnight. It is here that the fiends of hell walk among us. It is here where all things die. Welcome to Griffith. Demon invaders roam the landscape and have conquered all. The world is a ravaged and wrathful wasteland where the old world lies buried beneath the blood and sand with its gods and its secrets. Water is fought over with blood and steel. Compatible with the 5th edition of the world's oldest fantasy role-playing game, this book contains all new character creation options, including all of the familiar classes with new aspects befitting the ravaged wastelands of Griffith, along with new backgrounds, subclasses, spells, feats, and so much more. New races will allow you to play as the cursed Ash Elves, the Forsaken Humans, the Primordial Incarnate, the Proud Orcs, the Reptilian Suri, or the Infernal-Blooded Tieflings. New game mechanics such as blood, grit, and effort give your games an intense focus on lethality and survival. Numerous roll tables full of ideas to help bring your games to life. Featuring incredible thematic art by Brandish Gilhelm of Runehammer Games, as well as Lloyd Collins. The people of Griffith are not heroes. In Griffith it is courage just to survive. Will you rise to face the tide of demons, or will you succumb to the hostile elements? Available now on DriveThruRPG.com.
Hi and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, thank you so much for stopping by and for checking out this particular video. And for my usual followers and subscribers, thank you as well for taking your time today to see what's going on. For those of you who don't follow me on Twitter, you may not know that I've become a part of a group called the MUFFINS, and this is something that sort of developed all on its own. It involves myself and 2 other women. We have Eris from Eris Savad Designs, as well as Kelly the Opera Geek. And basically, we just kind of get up to some crazy antics on Twitter with each other as well as our followers. If you're all on Twitter and you have an account, just use the hashtag TerraMuffins and you'll see what I'm talking about. But anyways, these 2 women have become very good friends of mine, and we have been enjoying each other's company and just chatting with each other on a daily basis. Now, because of the camaraderie that we've developed and the fun we've been having with other people, Capri Creations took it upon himself to create this really cool design, which I'm going to show you right over here. And this is the design that has sort of started this whole thing that's going to be happening. I'm going to explain in a minute. But he was kind enough to create this for us, and he gave us clearance to use it for whatever we'd like to. However, none of us felt comfortable using it as a for-profit, for ourselves type of thing. That's where the idea came to me, where maybe we could do something that's more fundraiser based with it. And to get started, I wanted to go with a cause that is something that is rather close to home. I'm coming upon the 3-year anniversary of losing a close friend to domestic violence. Because of that, I thought it'd be appropriate that we use this particular design and the merchandise that we're offering for it as a means to raise funds to donate to a local charity in my area that helps women who have experienced domestic violence and are trying to get out and trying to improve their lives. So what we thought we'd do is share this with everyone, and from now through the month of October, all sales, the profits are going to be donated to this particular charity. I'm going to have all the information down in the link below so that for those who want to do the research can do the research and decide if this is a facility you feel you'd like to back as well. I completely respect it, and I understand that you want to know where your money is going. I do the same thing. But if you would like to help us with this particular cause and support the awareness for domestic violence, please check out all the links down below. It has everything you'll need in there. If you have any questions, you can always find us on Twitter. I'll have all of our ats in the description as well. You can also email me at thecraftingmuse.email@gmail.com. Thank you so much for taking a little bit of time to watch this. I very much appreciate it. I hope you have a great day, and please consider getting yourself some Terra Muffin merchandise, and it's all for a good cause. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and once again, it is the Sunless Citadel, episode 8, Down in a Hole, with some crafty individuals. And that was only half of my tagline. I went straight to the crafty part. That's okay. The other day I said that, hey internets, it's Jake from Waterdeep. So I'm batting 1,000 this week. We are here with a Dungeons and Dragons. I should probably drop mini campaign as we're moving to episode 8. We got a few more going. And this is turning into a full blown campaign at this point. But I am absolutely honored to have these 4 amazing role players here every Thursday for this game. We've taken the first adventure in the Tales from the Yawning Portal module from Wizards of the Coast for 5th edition, and we've managed to stretch it out. I think normally you can, some people, if you're just racing through to the end, I think run it in like 8 to 10 hours, and we've been running it for probably 15 to 20 hours, I think. And I'm okay with that. Absolutely okay with that. So we got a little bit of a late start by a few minutes tonight. Had a little bit of technical difficulties right at the beginning, but we're here and so are you. So I do want to say a huge thank you to everybody that's already tuning in the chat. We see you there. Some of the regular viewers and a couple new people will pop in throughout. Real quick, a couple housekeeping things. I'm going to drop this in the chat one time and bring it up. Mini Terrain Domain is on Patreon now. There are a whole bunch of benefits there. You can check it out, patreon.com/Mini Terrain Domain. I just put up for my master level patrons the reward of early access, 48-hour access to an interest post for an upcoming one-shot. That's right. If you are a patron at the master level, you get to see one-shots and have a chance to say, hey, I want to play 48 hours before anybody else does. Saturday afternoon, that will start showing up on Twitter and some of the Facebook groups. So be sure to check out that, follow that link. Any of the money, I'm being fully transparent, so any money raised on Patreon, you can see exactly the kinds of things that it will be used for to go right back into the channel and to support Mini Terrain Domain. So we can keep bringing you awesome content like this with kick-ass intro trailers and all kinds of stuff like that. Right down below me, we have the Domain Dice interface, which has become, I think a certain part of Talmud is a almost like a warlock. That's forming an Eldritch pact with the Domain Dice because they have saved his ass so many times.
You hear that, audience? You are my patron.
That's exactly right. So the audience is the patron, and it's the pact of the Domain Die. So if you're over on Twitch, for every 500 bits or down at the bottom below the video player is a donation button. For every $5, it buys these players a Domain Die, or in the YouTube, the YouTube super chat. Thank you, V. You can also donate via that way, and that will get the players Domain Dice that they can use to re-roll any D20 roll, or force me to re-roll a D20 roll. Right now, they're sitting on 12 of those babies. And it's people like you watching that have supplied those to them throughout this series, and so we thank you for that. Last thing is, if you want to stay up to date on these games and make sure you don't miss a thing happening on Mini Terrain Domain, like our Tomb of Annihilation Jolt of Personality Sunday night campaign, our All That Glitters Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign on Mondays, one-shots, live crafting, of course, this game right here on Thursdays, and anything else that comes up, you got to hit that little follow icon on Twitch. Maybe subscribe with your linked Amazon Prime to Twitch Prime subscription that you get free every month one subscription, or on YouTube, subscribe and hit that little bell to be notified when we go live. All right, I've talked enough. I am going to kick it down over to V, and then we're going to go around the horn. We're going to end on Scotty, who I'm going to have introduce one little piece. Then we're going to show you one more quick little promo for something cool Scotty's got going on, and then we're going to play D&D for a couple hours. So with that, V, tell us who you are, what you're playing, where we can find you, and anything else.
Hello, I am V. I have the YouTube channel, The Crafty Muse, where you can check out how to make terrain, scatter, paint minis, as well as game accessories. You can also find me over on Twitter. I am very active over there, and I have a couple groups on Facebook as well. So yeah, you can find me on the socials, no problem. Everything's The Crafting Muse. Makes it a lot easier. Quick little thing going on soon. Scotty and I are going to be down in Charlotte, North Carolina for the Mace little convention that we have going on there. Wylock's going to be there too, along with some other great crafters. So if you're in that area, come and join us November 9th through 11th. That's it from me.
Excellent. Jeremy.
Yes, sir. Hello, everybody. I am Jeremy. I have the YouTube channel, The Erasmus Expeditions, where I do live plays and I have some crafting videos as well as some videos talking about RPGs. We actually just did a session 0 for a brand new campaign starring the bearded one up above me as one of 5 glorious players. It was a really good session 0, and I'm very much looking forward to the first session, which is next month. I am also 1/3 of the Dudes of Yore podcast with my buddies Jeff Doty and Chad Nick, also to be found on YouTube. So go check us out. I am filling in the shoes once more of Talmud the Unlucky. I enjoy the hell out of this character and what his story arc has been so far, and how how the relationships play out with all the rest of these players. So I'm very, very excited to get back into this.
Awesome. And yes, do be sure to check all of them, these players out on YouTube. They're over on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch, you can check out YouTube later. Everybody's links are in the description to their social media and to their YouTube channels. Go to their channels and subscribe to them because they all have fantastic content. And these two on the bottom, like Jeremy said, I'm playing in this new campaign, monthly campaign, and I can occasionally be found over on Dice and Ice playing in games that Megan runs, usually of the freaky, creepy variety. And with that, I'm going to kick it down over to Megan.
Hey everyone, I'm Megan. I am one half of the YouTube channel Dice on Ice, and tonight I will be playing Vi. So I am always happy to play this character and come back and play with some really awesome people. So,
all right, short and sweet. And now it's Scotty.
All right. Hey guys, I am DM Scotty, and I have a channel called theDMsCraft where I show you how to make cheap terrain for your D&D games. We also have a group called the Tabletop Crafters Guild, and we have a lot of great crafters in there that show you all kinds of stuff. Fantastic group. Check it out on Facebook. And I am playing Griveth, the godly challenge character, I guess. So I'm having a little bit of problem dealing with this power that I'm obtaining from my god. So we'll see how that goes. And I just leveled up, wink, wink. So we'll see how that the even more power goes for me tonight. But
That's why Cantriel has calm.
good idea. So Jake is going to play something that's a little surprise from me. Gareth from DMG Info and I have started a new venture, and he's going to play a little clip for you to show you what it's about.
And I believe Gareth is listening in right now too.
Yes.
So I'm gonna mute us up so we don't get that weird echo out on the stream. And we're gonna show you a quick, less than a minute trailer. And Scotty, you can say more afterwards. Here we go.
Learn the ways of the Game Master, the Dungeon Master, and delve into the minds of the players. If you're looking for adventure, excitement, thrills, and a dice-rolling good time, grab the modules each month and play the campaign with your gaming group. with quest givers DM Scotty and DMG. They're taking you on an epic journey through the role-playing experience every Friday. You're sure to get hooked on adventure.
And we really liked the idea of creating adventures together, so we thought that'd be a lot of fun to share with you guys.
I didn't think this kind of stuff would come out of my brain. We are quest givers, and I'll see you in the next video.
I can't wait to start running some quest givers games right here on Mini Terrain Domain. I think V very quickly already secured a spot. She called dibs on a spot when that goes down. But Scotty, tell us a little bit more about that.
I can't wait to see that. But yeah, so like I was saying in the clip, Gareth and I, kind of banging our heads together, coming up with ideas. And when you do that as a GM, you can really generate some great stuff because you're bouncing off each other. And I feel that the stuff the stuff you can create together, it can just be so great, much better than maybe what you would have thought by yourself. And I always do that actually in my own games. Like I have friends that other DMs that I bounce stuff off of, and that's a great resource. But another thing is the modules. We're going to put out a whole campaign of modules, 12 modules, going to be a campaign, and one is going to come out a month. So you will be guaranteed there's going to be like, oh, when's the next module come out? I don't know. I'll have to wait and wait and wait. Oh, they delayed it again. And no. We are having a module a month. We are cranking this stuff out. So, and the campaign is fantastic. So I can't wait for you guys to see it. I'm so excited, and it's so flavorful and fun and just all kinds of great stuff in it. Monsters are recreated and a cool society that is not the usual kind of fantasy society. And I'm just really excited to see how you guys enjoy it.
One thing that you mentioned, and I can't remember if you just mentioned it to me or if it was in some of the promotional material, but you guys are running these kind of system agnostic. So they're not specifically D&D 5e. They're designed to be used with any role-playing system that people might want to use them with, correct?
Oh, yes. We wanted to do that. We didn't want to have you we felt if we put the stats on there that it's kind of tied to a system. Oh, it's for 5e or it's for Pathfinder or this. Yeah, they're system agnostic. Like we don't have the stats for the creatures or the things. We give you, we tell you what the creature would, the powers of the creature, and you just create it how strong you want it for your group. Like if you're playing it with a higher level group, you're going to want to use higher stats and that kind of thing. So it's or oh, this module doesn't fit with my group because we're not level 1. You know what I'm saying? You could adjust it to fit any group. So that's kind of the idea behind this. Like you can play with Dungeon World, anywhere from Dungeon World to, Pathfinder. So, yeah, that's what we want to go for. We want to go for the content was the important thing, not the mechanics.
Which I think is an incredibly smart choice. And I think because there are a lot of people out there that still play a lot of different systems. And it'll be really interesting to see people, what systems people are adapting it for. I'm curious to see if I can adapt it to a couple of systems that you wouldn't think. But I'll wait until I actually see the module to get the gears really turning. But I'm talking like taking something from like absolute tabletop, Harbinger sci-fi, and quest givers, mashing them together and coming up with something really crazy. So I do want to say real quick, though, if you're watching right now and you think this is something you might want to be a part of, following me on Twitter and following Mini Terrain Domain, as well as Quest Givers, and all of us, that's where you're gonna be kind of, by following us, you can get the early in to say, hey, I want to play in this game. And I might recognize your name from the chat here on the games and go, hey, I know that person. I would love to play with them. So, yeah, there's always a chance, because I say one of my should be my other tagline for Mini Terrain Domain is I want to play D&D with you. So right now I want to play D&D with these 4 individuals. So we are now going to roll into the game proper. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do a super quick recap. They're from the town of Oakhurst. They got 2 quests. They got to figure out why and how the goblins are selling the apples to the villagers once or twice a year. Saplings, seeds planted, never grow beyond a sapling. They seem to disappear. Somebody steals them or destroys them. They don't know. Town merchant and matriarch, forget her first name right now, Madam Hucreely, has also asked for them to... Oh, what just happened? Somebody dropped something. I didn't see what that was.
Possibly on Twitch. I think Jason just did a little...
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
That is going to get you guys 2 domain dice right off the bat, thanks to JT D&D DM for the 1,000 bits. Anyway, you're trying to find Telgrin and Charwin Hucreely, and unfortunately... you have, on one of the enemies you just defeated, you found Telgrin's battered chest, breastplate armor, and signet ring. So signs don't look too good for Telgrin, though you don't know. There's no body. So, but anyway, in search of all of these clues, you went to this place called the Sunless Citadel, a citadel that crashed into a chasm many centuries ago and is now inhabited by kobolds and goblins. You even fought and killed a white dragon wormling, and recently you found out that the goblin tribe had been sort of overthrown by some hobgoblins, and the goblin matriarch, this shaman woman, appealed to you to basically just get this evil druid that she told you about, Belloc, that's down in the Twilight Grove, that has taken over their Gulthias tree from which the fruit comes, and has said, we'll give you some seeds and the fruit and stuff. Just get rid of Belloc, get rid of any bad guys, and then get the hell out. That's basically what it comes down to. Clean my house and get out of here is what she said. So you fought a tough fight against Durnan and his cronies in this circular tower base in the northwest corner of the Sunless Citadel. You killed them all. You looted their bodies. You looted their treasure chest. But in the center of this room is this 15-foot diameter hole that leads down into near darkness, a purple luminescent glow coming from the fungus that grows on the walls of this deep well, and these sort of sickly white vines that seem to crawl up out of the well and creep into the room. You've had a harrowing several hours that you've been in this Sunless Citadel, facing the kobolds and the goblins and the dragon. And after killing these hobgoblins, you've kind of set up just an impromptu sleeping arrangement, and have just kind of been keeping an eye on things, trying to get some sleep or go into your elven trance or whatever it may be. And that's where we pick up, sort of coming out of this 8 hours of long rest. All of you have gotten a bit stronger as you've advanced through this area. So we're going to sort of just fade in to this scene. And what would you guys be doing as you're kind of in, we'll say you're kind of coming out of this 8 hours of rest, but these conversations can have taken place over the course of this period. As you only need, during the 8 hours, you only need to actually get like 6 hours of sleep during that time. So what would you guys be doing?
I've probably been like writing things down for a little bit, since I only need 4, and I've probably just popped awake and letting everyone else sleep. So kind of just keeping an eye on everyone and just writing things down.
So would we be doing like kind of a guard, like everybody taking a turn at guard? Is that what we would kind of do?
Probably the most logical and sensible thing to do. However, logical and sensible doesn't exactly go with brand.
Elves can always kind of be alert, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Were you guys doing anything?
I think Talmud probably he probably wept a little bit, honestly. The whole day kind of settling in finally, the adrenaline finally running out, the whole stuff with Meepo, just the roller coaster that he's been on thus far. He kind of cries for a little while and then grows quiet for a very brief period of time, and then begins loudly snoring as he falls into a very, very deep, restful sleep.
I think that before maybe he falls asleep in that silence, Vi would come over and she wouldn't sit beside Talmud. You would just see her hold down this these basically like a cigarette, like a hand rolled cigarette, and she would just kind of yes and she would kind of hold it down towards Talmud. This will help calm your nerves.
It's 100% legal in Faerun.
Absolutely.
Recreational use is
Totally.
100% legal in Faerun. I'm just saying. It's a green realm.
Talmud will kind of roll over and look at it. Is that a vegetable?
No, you wouldn't eat it ever.
It smells like oh, I know that smell. It's halfling leaf. He'll kind of take some from you. Since all of my Kirrigan's gone, and he kind of and he just kind of takes a couple of drafts off of this cigarette, and then he kind of rolls back over and hands it to you.
She shakes her head. It's for you. You can have it.
Thank you, beer lady. And he kind of rolls over and huddles with it.
I would go over to a separate spot, and she would sit and begin to unwrap her bundles of various herbs and dried berries. She'd unwrap them and she'd begin to almost take inventory of them, placing them in certain ways that she is obviously very comfortable with, and that she knows it's almost ritualistic in how she's doing it.
So the others, after a time, the others have kind of dozed off, or in a maybe a fitful sleep, and Cantriel is doing her meditation and still being kind of alert for the group, and she suddenly hears something coming from where Griveth was laying, and you hear Cantriel. Do you look?
Well, V would run the hell out of there. Cantriel, however, has probably rejuvenated herself somewhat. If anything, would look over and kind of just patiently wait to see where this is going more than anything else.
Okay. So as you start to turn your head to see what that was, you hear a more Griveth voice say, "Help me. Cantriel, help me."
I'm probably gonna like take an arrow and with, you know, not the pointy side, not the stabby side. I'm gonna go over and kind of like tickle your ear to see if I can wake you up, but not get too close because I'm a little hesitant right now.
Okay, before you do that, when you finally turn around and see Griveth, he's floating above the ground, like 2 feet above the ground.
Oh, great. He's come up with another trick of his that we haven't been expecting.
Help.
I don't know. He's flying off his handle. Now he's floating like a freaking bird.
Help me.
So I'm going to, like, I guess, walk up to eye level almost. Griveth.
What's happening to me?
Griveth, wake up. Griveth.
I'm awake. I'm awake, damn it.
Griveth, look down.
Yes, I know. I'm floating.
Put yourself down.
What is happening to me?
Well, damned if I know. This is a new one for me.
Well, get me down.
I'm supposed to get you down.
Well, I can't.
I'm going to flip the arrow and poke him.
I go, ow! But he's still floating there.
Damn it, man. What are you doing?
I don't know.
Did you dream of something?
I suppose.
What did you supposedly dream of?
I don't remember now.
I'm gonna gonna walk over and like try and push him down.
Okay, you're like pushing with all your might, and it's pushing me down. But when you let up on like the pressure, like boop, I like kind of pop back up.
Well, aren't you a cork in a wine bottle?
I know.
Can you move?
Get me down.
I just tried. I can't.
Can't you use some kind of magic? Don't you have some kind of magic for this?
No, I don't have lead weight magic. Try changing your position. Maybe if you try sitting up, it'll, I don't know, make you go tipsy and you'll fall.
What do I do?
Quite frankly, I have no idea.
I can't stand up.
I could tie you to something. I could tie you to the throne. Would that help?
What? Why?
Well, I don't know if you're going to float off like a balloon.
You do notice that when you try to push him down, like it kind of like he can move. You can move him. It's like a levitation. Like you can move him, but he won't stay down. Like he won't, and he can't stand up.
I'm gonna grab him by like his collar and like pull him across the room.
Okay, it's like pulling a floating disc. It's like basically frictionless. Like it comes with you easily. It's just my weight.
Griveth, I have no idea what you've done to yourself, but this is very much out of my comfort zone. But for fear of losing you, I'm going to tie you up.
I remember my dream now. I was dreaming of Eldath, and I was bathing in the shining pool with the waterfall coming down over me, and I was floating up into the waterfall, and I saw the light, and then I woke up and I'm floating. I don't know what to do.
Well,
I don't have training on this. I don't know. I'm a soldier. I'm just a soldier.
It's okay, Griveth.
I haven't studied for years in the temple.
I'm gonna like grab his face and like make him look at me. So you're gonna be looking into my very oddball, pupilless, bright green orb eyes. Griveth, please take a deep breath first of all.
There are clerics that study for years.
Just breathe.
I've never studied. I don't know
to breathe first.
I don't know how to control this.
We can't control it until you calm down. Please take a deep breath for me.
All right, I'm trying.
Let's do another one just to be safe.
Okay. Breathe. Okay.
Yes, breathing is good. Going to the light usually isn't.
But he's still floating.
Please take another couple deep breaths for me.
And he's still floating.
V, roll me a Arcana or an Insight.
Yes, sir.
Cantriel, not V.
I know who you
Well,
mean. I
V's
have multiple
rolling,
personalities. I'm good. Let's see here. Let us do Arcana for 14.
right. Griveth, Scotty, is that enough for her to know what the hell's going on?
What's that?
Is that 14? What,
I have a clue.
Oh, enough for her to know what's going on?
yeah.
No.
Oh, crap.
What do I need to roll for you to tell me what the hell you're doing?
Sorry.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here too.
Just go.
You and me both.
Just go with it.
Just go with
it.
Go with the flow. Go with the Scotty.
I trust you.
Trust me. So whatever you seem to do, you don't know what's causing it. Whatever you seem to do, like he just pops right back up.
Well, in that case, I'm going to be tying a rope around, kind of like underneath the arms and everything.
Okay. You don't have to spell magic, right?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. You're going to be bobbing like a boy. Well, Griveth, I'm afraid this isn't exactly my field of expertise. I don't want to wake the others up quite yet because Lord knows they need the rest, but this will at least keep you from flying away.
I mean, I'm comfortable. I'm just not strainful or anything. I just feel like I'm floating on a cloud.
There could be worse places to sleep, I suppose.
But I'm not going to be much help in a fight.
Well, let's see if this is something that might be lingering, or maybe Vi might know of something.
Unless you push me into the enemy.
Well, let's not use you as a battling ram quite yet.
All right. I hope it doesn't come to that.
You and me both, because this is...
How far into the rest has this happened?
Well, if I'm up, it's been 4 hours.
We can say it's pretty late and the others are pretty much getting up.
All right, so yeah, I think at this point the commotion would probably wake Vi at least. Maybe not Talmud yet. Griffith, did you smoke any of the the vegetable?
The wacky tobacco.
You're muted, Scotty.
There might have been a little wafting, a little
secondhand exposure. Mm-hmm.
I can just imagine Vi would just kind of roll over. She'd open her eyes.
Hello. We have a situation.
And roll back over.
No, Vi, darling, I hate to do this, but something's happening, and I'm pointing to Griffith.
I see. Vi would stand up and walk over to Griveth.
I've already tried pushing him down. It didn't work.
Do you know what's happening to me? I can't get down.
She would begin looking him over and trying to test the buoyancy of his floating. What kind of check can she make? That would be Arcana?
I would say Arcana or maybe Insight.
Okay.
Yeah, either one.
So I got a 22 on Insight.
There we go.
I feel like that's pretty good for her to start to get a sense of what's going on, Griveth.
I feel so too, yeah. Cantriel was kind of looking at it more from a mystical, magical standpoint, how can I solve this problem? But she was thinking about it, magically, I guess.
Well, yeah,
you were looking at it, I think, more into the psyche or into me, and it was you feel that it's definitely I'm channeling my God's power through me unintentionally, I can't help it. So it's me. I can stop it. But yeah.
So Vi is going to kind of look at you for a while, kind of tilting her head. Yes, I've seen this before. I've actually treated someone who had this very ailment.
So he's not broken?
No, not at all. He just, and she kind of ruffles.
What do you call it? What do you call this ailment?
Floating strangeness.
No one had ever seen it. I don't think it has a name yet.
Oh, there you can go. We can name it after Griveth. Griveth's Dilemma. Has a ring to it.
But I luckily have what we need to treat it. And she's going to reach into her bag and she's going to take out a bunch of these leaves and stalks and like these weird things and kind of wrap them all up together. And she's going to light it to create this like smoke. And she's going to begin to put this around him and like kind of the smoke and all that and starting to chant and making this really big deal.
Like sage?
Yeah.
You're smudging him.
So there's nothing real to it, right? It's just this is just a show.
Yeah, she's hoping, she knows that it's just a show and she knows that it's him and that she knows that it's, so her hope is that if he thinks it's working, that it'll calm him down and that he'll, kind of go back to normal. That's her hope.
Okay, so he's floating there and he's breathing in this. What do you call those things that you know I'm talking about that you light at the end? There's a name
Like
for those.
incense.
No, not incense.
It's called a sensor.
It's a thing where it's a health thing. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Anyways, yeah. So he's breathing this in, trying to be part of this ritual, and then he just starts lowering to the ground like slowly, and then kind of boop, like the last foot. You hear a big chonk as like his armored body like hits the ground. He's like, oh, the breath is kind of knocked out of him, and he's like, oh, thank you, Vi. I might have been up there forever.
What on earth is wrong with him?
And
I've been pushing him down like a filled up ladder and nothing's been happening.
So you totally psyched him out. It totally worked.
It's him. I'm sorry, Griffith. And she kind of takes this and she kind of takes a bite out of it, begins to chew it. That was nothing. I just needed you to calm down.
What? That wasn't real?
No.
It was me? All the time?
Yes. Something to do with what's going on in your mind, which is not surprising considering that.
I can't handle this power. I'm not trained. I don't know. I haven't studied for years. There are clerics and other paladins of the order who have studied for years, and I don't know what.
Why do you feel like you can't handle it? Because from what I've seen, well, outside of your outbursts, but I think that's a little bit more having to do with your bobbing up and down trick that you've just learned.
Because
I've seen, you're a strong man who knows what he can do to help everyone around him.
I know, but I'm not. I haven't studied for years like the other brothers and sisters.
Oh, like that matters.
I don't know how to control this. So you can
I
sense
think
that he
you
doesn't
have
have
faith
a lot
in
of
yourself
confidence.
as much as you have faith in your own God.
He doesn't have a lot of confidence in his ability to, it's his own. It's a psychological thing. Yeah.
So for tapping into the powers of your god, and in the words of one of your godlike patrons, for being such a troll, you have earned yourself 4 domain dice from JT D&D DM, who just dropped 20 in the super chat, who also asks if this is like Paladin Morningwood.
To which Cantriel takes 5 steps back to be safe.
So, yeah, excellent way of tapping into your newfound abilities as your powers continue to grow. And I think at this point, everybody is pretty much awake.
So now I'm level 4.
Talmud, if you weren't already awake, as he drops to the ground with a clatter, you definitely wake up then.
Yeah, Talmud kind of sits bolt upright.
Hello, Talmud. Good morning.
He kind of reaches for his hammer.
No, we're good. We can put the ancestors down. We just had a little situation. It's all under control.
Is breakfast finished yet?
It was supposed to start it.
The whole thing. That's awesome.
It's my turn. Oh. He kind of gets up and kind of wanders around in a circle, kind of trying to figure out what's going on exactly. His head's not on straight yet. He just woke up. He starts like banging pots around on accident.
Give me a perception check real quick, Talmud.
So Griveth leans into the ladies and says, "Don't tell. I'm embarrassed. Don't tell Talmud what happened."
Don't you think it'd be fair for him to have an idea that you're struggling with something, though? I mean, think about it. You're both sort of dealing with similar-ish not demons. I mean, gods and ancestors.
I'm asking you. Promise me you won't tell.
Well, I won't tell, but I'm not making promises because he might have to know.
How's that perception check there?
In true Talmud fashion, I rolled a 2 on the die for a total of a 4. I ain't perceiving shit, sir.
So, as you're going through this sort of banging around pots and pans and sort of you're doing that sleepy, like you're not quite awake. There's a couple moments where, losing awareness of your surroundings, you kind of blearily walk around, you're grabbing some stuff, and you kind of start to take a step forward right towards the well, this 15-foot well that drops down in. But at the last second, you kind of pivot on that foot, turn to go grab something else, and then you take a step backwards and almost step in again to the well, but then you pivot and take a step back towards the wall. This happens like 3 or 4 times as everybody is kind of helplessly watching as you just kind of, and it's just that, but you're oblivious to the fact that at least 3 or 4 times you just almost fell, who knows how far down into this thing, as you go about doing what you're doing.
Can I run over and kind of like start hurting him?
Hurting sort of him sure or hurting him?
Not the D of the D, not the T of the T.
Okay. Yeah, so your guys' rest is pretty much over. So what would you guys like to do now?
I'm assuming we ate the breakfast.
Well, yeah. Did you actually prepare some breakfast, Talmud? I mean,
it was asked of me, so sure.
Why not?
I mean, prepared is probably a loose word in this situation. I put something together.
What did you put together? What'd you use for ingredients?
That's a great question. It's probably like salted meat, like served in like some kind of porridge. There may be a point or two where Talmud has to reach over and pull a caltrop out of somebody's bowl and kind of shake it off, maybe lick it before he puts it back in the right bag.
I picture in the Two Towers when I think it's Eowyn makes the stew for Aragorn, and he like takes a taste of it, and he's like, and when she turns away, he just pitches the bowl. So yeah, you guys get a breakfast that's sustainable, but perhaps not the greatest combination of ingredients. If only you had some Kiergan left.
Oh God. No more.
All right, breakfast complete. Now what would you like to do?
Well, we have the well to consider.
Yes, this well, yawns before us. I guess That is our way.
The only thing it makes me a wee bit nervous just because of the that's not a natural color for vines. I don't care what you say. I've never seen vines grow that color.
I'm not looking forward to climbing down there.
It looks like the other apple we were told about. How it's white and pale.
Right. Yes.
Anybody that wants to can make a nature check on the vines.
Okay.
But I
know nothing.
I feel like at least one of your party is probably an expert in this field.
Like the druid?
Potentially.
I got a 20.
Yeah, let's go with the druid because I got nothing.
So, yeah, as you take a closer look at the vines, you see that the glowing violet fungus doesn't really like grow from the vines. Rather, it seems to be clinging to the walls and around the vines. The vines are ghostly white. At times when they're thinner, they're almost translucent, and that is because they seem to be taking on the traits of some plants and even animals that grow without sunlight. There is no sunlight reaching them to give them that natural green look or any sort of pigment to them. These are something that the light of the fungus is probably some of the only light. And you even get the sense, Vi, that these vines may have over time climbed up the well, seeking the brighter light of the firelight and the torchlight that is in this chamber. Potentially coming up from the darkened area below.
So Vi would she'd go and she'd hold the leaves between her thumb and forefinger and just kind of this is what happens when you don't grow where you should, where you need to, and you have to try and survive in any way you can. This is underground. It's dark. The leaves are not vibrant or green, but they should be all right to touch.
So it's like being locked up in a tower with no sunshine then.
Yes, it looks like, and she looks down the well. It looks like they tried.
Do you think these are touched by some kind of foul magic?
No. Some things aren't. Some things just live how they can.
Yeah, Griveth doesn't seem to understand that sometimes. It's like it's either there's a lot of black and white.
You do get the sense too, looking at them, that they look pretty sturdy. Vines are pretty hardy, and they look climbable.
Well, I mean, if it's just a matter of lacking certain features, they still probably do the job of helping us climber down, because we do need to find what's going on with those saplings.
I turn to Talmud and I say, I'm not comfortable with Cantriel going first. I suggest one of us go first. I would be glad to go first, but
I hear what you're saying, Big Ben. I hear what you're saying.
You can see in the darkness and I can't, so.
Yes.
Well, I can see in the darkness too.
Would you like to go first?
No, I know I'm a bit squishy. I probably shouldn't.
All right, then it's time.
You're not going first. You're not going first.
Ooh.
All right. somebody's a little edgy. And he kind of walks over to the edge.
He didn't sleep very well last night. Kept waking up a little outside the box. Let's put it that way.
I kind of shoot a look at Cantriel like,
you know, you should ask Vi for some of that, whatever it was, vegetable she gave me last night.
We think that may have been the problem. He had an adverse reaction to it, unlike you.
Oh, I felt fine. I felt almost like I was floating all night.
You slept like a wee babe. I must say, it was so peaceful and so gentle, like you were sleeping on a cloud.
It felt that way.
Didn't look that way, though. But I could tell you got a good night's rest, but he not so much.
sounds like a good dream.
All right, well, down the hidey hole we go.
Would you like an athletics check, Jake?
One moment. I am seeing.
Row.
I'm so good at rolling dice.
There's something is going on with the stream. The quality dropped significantly on YouTube, and we are stuttering on Twitch. And I had a notice that on OBS here that the everything looks like it's settling in a little bit. Okay, I had a notice that it said that encoding was overloaded, which I can't change the video settings while it's live. I'm closing a couple of extra windows that I had open. Don't message me on Facebook, guys, because I'm going to close that one. I'll have to check. Something was going on. It looks like we're stable on Twitch again. I'm going to reload YouTube. It might be if you're watching this on YouTube and your stream quality has dipped, you might try just hitting refresh.
The news is the audio sustained.
Yeah, I'm thankful for that. That's been my experience so far. Thank you, Jason. Jason says that it lagged pretty hard. Yeah, I don't know what was going on. I just thanks Megan for calling that out in our side chat. I'm gonna have to do some digging into my settings and stuff. This is the second time we've had stream quality issues, but it looks like it's back to normal. So yeah, if you're on YouTube, maybe try refreshing if your quality's down.
Someone put Talmud broke the internet.
It's Jeremy Fireplug. Yeah, what did you do, Talmud? How bad was that breakfast?
I rolled dice again.
There you go.
So, all right, so we can get back to it. Sorry for that interruption, folks. We'll get back to it. And no, I'm not going to require any athletics checks because these vines are they're almost like a netting. Easy handhold and footholds. They grow very thickly. So you're able to, you're able to climb down without any real difficulty. So what was the order? Talmud, you're going first. Who's going to follow Talmud? Griveth, and then who else? Who's next? I mean, you guys don't have to go single file. I mean, it's a 15-foot diameter well. So.
Then as soon as Talmud's over and down a little bit further, I am leaping over because I'm not first. I'm not going down first, but I'm going down when I want to.
And then Vi, you bringing up the rear?
Yeah, Vi's gonna actually just pause there for a bit, looking down the well, looking at the vines. Can she hear anything, any whispering that might be familiar to her from the past?
Give me a perception check.
That is a 16.
As you listen, you hear the sort of straining, grunting sound of Talmud climbing down. You hear the creaking of his armor, the just the sounds of even in the leather, the sounds of leather creaking as Cantriel and Griveth are also climbing, and just kind of starting to breathe a little heavy as they're moving down. And you listen intently and kind of push past these sounds, listening deeper. And you don't hear any whispers, but you hear an almost rhythmic very subtle.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Vi just suddenly feels her heart just jump into her throat. She looks around very quickly before she kind of jumps over the side, and she's going to try and scrabble down as quickly as possible.
Where's the fire, Vi? What's going on?
Nope, nothing. Just don't like vines.
So she climbs back out.
I'm climbing down.
No, she hadn't gone down yet.
Oh, climbing down. Okay. Okay. While she was listening, Griveth is climbing beside Cantriel and Vi, and he's feeling very guilty because he's like their protector, and he's been very kind of reticent of his duty. And like, Cantriel went up and got shot by an arrow, and then and then I ran up and attacked, and there was all these situations, and I went last in initiative, and there was all these situations where I should have been doing protection, but I wasn't. So like while she's listening, she feels like a hand on her ankle, and Griffith is like, "Come on, what are you doing? Come on." Because he's nervous about them getting too far away from him. But then you like zoom past him, like crawl fast or like climb fastly. So he's like, huh.
So you're trying to scrabble like as quick as you can, Vi?
Yeah, as fast as her older bones will take her.
If you're going to move faster than everybody, I'm going to need you to make an athletics check.
Absolutely. It's a 5.
Oh,
I think she's trying to say domain dice. Domain dice.
Yes, I will use the domain.
I can practically hear Jason and others from the chat screaming domain die too.
I think there was a little bit of Cantriel like, no!
Well, that's an 8.
Oh, wow. So Vi kind of comes down afterwards and begins scooting down, and for just a moment she kind of moves near you, Griveth, on one side where you're climbing near Cantriel. Talmud's a little bit further down. And Vi, as you're reaching and stepping, you feel your foot slip. And as it does so, it slips about a foot and catches on the next foothold. But it's so jarring that it pulls your hand away from where you were holding. And you kind of do that thing where you try to reach again for it, but you're already leaning backwards and you start to fall. I need a perception check from Cantriel, Talmud, and Griveth. Griveth, I'm going to have you do it at an advantage because you were sort of interacting with her as she went by.
23!
So Cantriel, you see Vi about to fall. Unfortunately, you're on the other side of Griveth.
Well, shit.
Griveth and Talmud, how'd you guys do?
I got a 18.
I got a 15.
So pretty much everybody sees this. You kind of hear the commotion and you see. What would you do, Griveth and Talmud, as you see? Talmud, Vi is a little bit above you and to the side. Griveth, you're probably the closest to her.
Okay. So I say Talmud to get his attention, but I'm going to try to grasp her as she falls past me. I've got my shield on my back, so both my hands are free.
Okay.
So what you want me to roll?
Okay. I want you to roll a dexterity check.
I'm going to use a domain die.
How bad was it?
Pretty bad.
All right.
13.
You lean back and you reach for Vi's hand. Vi, as you miss the vine, and with your other hand, you see almost in slow motion Griveth holding tightly with one hand as he reaches back for your hand, and you feel his fingers graze your fingertips as you fall away from him.
Talmud!
You are now falling backwards and down. Talmud, you see this. What would you do?
Talmud's climbing down, and he's right-handed, so he switches to where his left hand is holding onto a thick vine, and then throws his right arm out and leans as far as he can to try to catch her if he can, and if not catch her, then at least grab a hold of her arm or her belt or something secure.
All right, you're gonna make the same dexterity check at the same DC.
Okay. I am also going to spend a domain die because that was a 1.
Oh no! How do you feel, Vi, that your fate rests in these individuals? How'd you do on that second roll there, Talmud?
All right, it is a 14 total.
Talmud, you lean out. Which arm were you holding on with?
My left.
Because you said you're left-handed?
I'm right-handed.
Oh, you're right-handed. Okay, so you reach out and you sort of lean and you put an arm out as Vi falls into your arm, but she's fallen far enough that she knocks your arm back, and your shortened dwarf arms aren't enough to recover to grab her as you watch.
Can I see the bottom of where we're going?
You can't. Everything is in this sort of purple glow. Vi, you are falling. You watch as the firelight above recedes rapidly, and your friends looking down after you. Let's see if I have enough D6s here. So you guys had pretty much just started, and don't get too scared, but I do have to grab a couple more D6s out of my pack here.
Can I cast light on her as she's falling?
You're gonna try to cast light on her?
Yeah, I'm gonna use my cantrip light and light her walking stick, so at least she has light and we can see her.
Is your walking stick slung over your back, Vi?
Yeah.
Just has to be an item.
Yeah, I think it just has to be something you can see, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. So there's suddenly a, and you can now see Vi's silhouette as she falls. And I'm rolling. I'm going to roll first, and I'm going to tell you how many dice I rolled. Okay, no 6s. 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19.
So we see her fall all the way down like a torch.
So you do see her kind of receding, the white light of this light spell, as you fall for several seconds, Vi. and you land hard on your back, but not quite as hard as you would have expected. You land in a sort of almost loamy, kind of spongy earth with moss and ivy and stuff like that. You do take, I forgot what I said, 8, 10, 15, 19 points of bludgeoning damage. And I'm going to have you roll this, and I'm going to say there's a pretty good chance of this thing happening. So I'm rolling a percentile. I have a number. So roll me a percentile die, Vi.
41.
That's definitely within the range. You hear something crack as you land. It sounds like maybe your back has broken, or a leg, or an arm. But you don't feel any pain. You realize your staff has snapped in two as you landed on it. So now there's two portions of illuminated broken staff under you. But Vi, the rest of you, you can sort of see this white glow 60 feet below you. So I rolled 6d6. You got lucky that I only rolled 3s and 4s and 1 5. And there was a 1 in there too. So that could have been a lot worse. You see Vi, you kind of hear that echo up the chamber, this oof. And you hear, or rather see, at least for a short range around her, you can see that she's lying down, and you can see some green, and some of the white of vines and the purple of the fungus. Vi, what would you do? You just momentarily, the wind is knocked out of you. So you have that moment of your
Vi would see this flash of white as this blinding pain just goes down her body. And it would almost be, as she was falling, I can imagine it was almost like when your life flashes before her eyes, because she was sure this would be the end. This would be her last. And as she fell and as she hits the bottom, all her memories, all of her thoughts come together into this explosion of light. And for a second, she just lays there and she doesn't know what to do, if she can move. She knows there's something broken underneath her, but she looks back up at the rest of everyone.
Vi, as this flash of light happens, and there's this sort of that sort of instantaneous, almost like life flashing before your eyes. There's a flash. One image, frozen in time, burned into your subconscious. Just the most traumatic thing that you witnessed in your past. It's almost as if it's a still frame burned on the back of your eyes. What is that image? What do we see?
For a moment, Vi smells the scent of hay, the scent of farmland. She smells cooking. Her mother making something fresh, always fresh from the garden. Her eyes are closed, and she opens them, hoping, praying that when she opens them, everything will be normal, everything will be as it should, that the flashes that she had were a nightmare. But when she opens her eyes, she can feel the wet trickling down her hands, and she looks at them and they're red. She touches her mouth. It is also warm and sticky. And she looks at the hearth where the stew is still cooking, where everything, the table was set, the wreaths were hung for harvest celebration. But as her eyes scan down onto the mat, she sees the bloody bodies of her mother, her father, and her sister. They're cut, bite marks, scratch marks cover their body. And in the window, there is a man with antlers on his head, and he is looking at Vi with almost an approving look. And that is the image that haunts her most nights. But it still doesn't make it any easier for her to see it. And I think with this flash, it is the most cerebral, the most intense memory that she had ever received. And I think once she hits the ground, she would begin to weep.
Which seems like a perfectly justifiable thing from anybody on the outside that may have seen from where you fell.
How far away is she from us?
She's 60 feet below you.
I'm going to climb down further and Misty step to her.
Okay. Are you going to continue to call... continue to climb cautiously?
Yeah, I'm going to climb down carefully, and then once I can see where she is, I'm going to Misty step.
What about Talmud and Griveth?
I'm going to ask Cantriel just before... Oh, you can only sustain one light spell, right?
It's a cantrip.
Oh.
It goes for an hour.
I ask if you can cast it on my shield.
That's a good point. Can I do more than once? Let me check.
That's a cantrip, so you can cast it on
Yeah, I would
whatever.
think so, right?
Just before you
I rule that you can cast it on whatever.
All right, cool. I'm gonna like smack his shield and like fine, and just start going.
Somewhere far above you, Vi, through your tears, you hear a bong.
Talmud is picking up the pace. He's going to start climbing down a lot faster now.
And Actually, that's a good point. K Gnosis on the YouTube chat. Megan, take a point of inspiration for that flashback scene. I'm admittedly bad about remembering to award inspiration. So, and you, as players, of course, can speak up if you think somebody deserves inspiration. But I pay attention to the chat for those kind of things too. If the chat's calling for inspiration, they thought it was pretty good. So, yes. So, sorry. What were you doing, Talmud?
Talmud is picking up the pace. He's going to start climbing down a lot faster.
And were you picking up the pace too, Griveth? Or were you still climbing cautiously?
Griffith is still climbing cautiously because he's kind of thinking, well, it doesn't do us any good if we got 2 people on their backs, and I'm going to hit pretty hard with all this armor, if I end up falling, and I'm not going to do anybody any good. So I'm still being careful, but I'm trying to go as fast as I can while being careful.
So Talmud, I am going to need a dexterity or an athletics check as you're climbing down. I'm only going to make you make the 1 check, but yeah, you've seen what happens.
Oh yeah, hang tight, everybody. I roll dice very, very well. Actually, that is a 23 total.
Thank God.
Glancing down, Griveth and Cantriel, right before you Misty Step, you just see Talmud moving with a precision and purpose that you've never seen before. He's moving almost as quick as the lithe forms of the taller human and elf. I started to say elven, but yeah. So Talmud, you are able to move very quickly, but Cantriel, you get about halfway down, and you just, and you.
First thing you're gonna hear say is "fuck this," and then she's gone.
Just kind of turning, and she's there one moment, and the next she just kind of.
Yeah, it's like a quick purple mist, and
right next to Vi is just this mist coalesce. I see, in my mind, I see Misty Step like a colorized version of the Death Eaters in the Harry Potter movies when they're apparating. That's just in my mind. That's how Misty Step works. It's like short range apparition. So there's just all of a sudden it's like this form just and is next to you, Vi. What do you do, Cantriel? You're the first one down next to Vi. It's going to take another couple minutes for Talmud and Griveth to make their way down here.
Well, you can see that Cantriel's visibly shaken at this point. I'm going to take my potion of healing. Vi, darling, you need to drink this right now. Please.
There was so much blood. It was everywhere. It was everywhere. There was so much. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And I'm gonna like lean over her and just like start like stroking her hair and calm her down.
Did you administer the healing potion to her?
I can start.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just wasn't sure if you did that.
I'll help. Do you want to roll for your own healing potion? I feel weird about rolling for her because it's a healing potion.
Yeah, it's up to you guys how you want to do that. I have no problem if the person taking the potion, receiving the potion wants to roll.
Yeah, kind of rather.
So that's 2d4 plus 2.
Yeah, and she would kind of recoil at it, but you can see when you first went down, she was somewhere else. She wasn't with you, but as she blinks and as she looks confused at first, and she looks at you like she doesn't recognize you, but then after a few blinks, thank you.
Please.
Yes, all right. Thank you. I think I broke my... And she looks behind her at where her staff is.
I'm going to grab her staff and do mending.
Ooh, nice. mending kind of gets overlooked a lot of times, I think, but it's one of my favorite cantrips to have for reasons just like this.
Yep, comes in handy.
Vi could have very easily been stuck without a weapon, and because it's a simple break, you're able to actually mend it. It's almost like, well, why don't you tell us? You narrate what it looks like.
Well, I can see she's distressed, and in my own mind, I'm in this panic mode because I've just seen someone that I've grown close to plummeting to what I thought was her death. So seeing that she's physically okay, but seeing that something I know that means of great importance to her broken in two, I'm going to grab it, and you're going to see my arm glow a bright, warm light, and it spreads into the staff itself. And as I pull my hand away, you see the break mending into itself again. There now, that won't be a problem either. Physically, how are you?
This, and she kind of pats the ground. Thankfully broke my fall. I'm getting way too old to be falling from heights like that anymore.
Well, at least you're still here with us, but 150 years under my belt. Well, at least we got a smile from you. Now, what about up in here? Are you okay?
Yeah. I'm
Are
fine.
you sure? I don't need another friend bobbing along like Griffith.
No bobbing along. My feet are firmly on the ground.
Let's keep it that way from now on then, maybe.
And she looks at you seriously for a moment, and in the few seconds before Griveth and Talmud get down, she looks at you with a moment of just almost just very serious. Cantriel, I'm scared.
You and me both. But at least we've all got each other. And you know you have me for sure.
Are you still laying on the ground, or did you get stand up?
She sat up, so I'm assuming that I'm kneeling and she's sitting up.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
I would like Vi and Cantriel to give me perception checks.
Oh, Mr. J. 11.
25.
Oh, thank God.
As you hear up above you, Talmud and Griveth kind of shuffling down, and Talmud and Griveth, you kind of reach the bottom of the well, and there's about another 15 feet that you have to you can lower yourself down and drop to the sides. You have no danger of landing on Cantriel and Vi, since she was kind enough to fall in the middle of the well. And you're able to drop down, and just as Talmud and Griveth kind of drop down to the ground, and Talmud and Griveth, I think as you drop down and are looking toward Vi and Cantriel, you would see the same thing that Vi has just seen, as she's looking at Cantriel and kind of sees behind her. For the first time, you kind of get a sense of the room around you, and you're in this large stone square chamber that's about 60 feet on a side, and you seem to be more or less in the southwest corner of this room. The room that you are in, and you all kind of see this luminescent fungus with its violet light that you're getting a little accustomed to, grows everywhere in here, clinging to the walls and ceiling. The air in here is very damp and chilly, and you can smell those smells of loam and organic decay, vegetative decay. You can tell that you had fallen on a layer of earth, rotting vegetation, and you kind of are just now starting to realize that there are bones and partially decayed remains of small cave animals lying around. That adds to that slight odor of decay. Several varieties of mushrooms and fungi are growing from some of these dead animals and around them. And there's even a few saplings around the area. But what you notice are these 6 skeletons that are standing around staring at you. These skeletons are wearing tattered remains of leather aprons, tunics, and they all hold rakes and shovels. There's a rusted wheelbarrow nearby. Vi, it looks like these skeletons, their posture, I mean, one of them has literally just got his shovel up like this and kind of holding it and just like watching you. They look like, if it weren't for the fact they were skeletons, it looked like you just interrupted a bunch of farmers in the middle of their work and they're just staring at you all. And then they just slowly start going to work, and you hear, as they're raking the soil, you hear and you see one of them digging into the soil and shoveling earth into the wheelbarrow very rhythmically. What would you guys like to do?
I think upon realizing that that was the sound that Vi had heard that had caused her so much, for a second, she begins to laugh. Just this hearty, kind of wheezy, soft laugh. But then she kind of tilts her head. I didn't know undead were so docile.
It is a first for me as well. And I'm a rather bit afraid to move for fear we might trigger something.
I would like the 4 of you to give me perception checks.
Got a 15.
14.
What'd you get, Vi?
15.
Talmud?
I got a 16. Continuing.
Griveth? Muted?
Darn my nemesis. 24.
All right. So first, well, Griffith, you notice as these skeletons start to go back to work, and you see that Vi actually seems okay. Not nearly as badly wounded as you would expect. Cantriel has already been tending to her. And she starts to laugh. You, Griveth, are the only one that catches movement out of the corner of your eye as you see one of the saplings detach itself from where it's growing and in a rapid motion begins to move towards your group. And you also notice 4 more of them moving on from behind Cantriel and Talmud, blocked from Vi's view. So Vi, Cantriel, and Talmud, you are surprised. Griveth, you are not. So we're going to roll initiative. Griveth will get to act in this first round. The rest of you will not. So yes, let's go ahead and you actually, because you've recently encountered one of these, and killed one, I think Talmud actually killed it. the one that was in the pot up above, these are twig blights.
Do I have time to interpose myself between them and the group, or would that have happened in the initiative?
We'll see where everybody falls in the initiative and see if that can happen. I feel like it might be able to happen. Because that's are you talking about as part of movement or as part of your reaction?
Well, it's when I spotted them, I kind of jumped in the way, you know what I'm saying? Like jumped in front of the group.
I think because they were already moving in, you would have to use your reaction to do that. Well, you know what? You got a 20-something. I'll say yeah. You can get in front of one person. Obviously, you're not quite big enough to protect the entire group, but so let me roll my folks initiative here. Helps if I have their stats in front of me. Okay. So okay.
Is Vi healed all the way up?
No, Vi's looking. Vi, how much did you roll on that healing potion, by the way?
I rolled a 6.
So yeah, Vi's looking pretty bruised up and banged up. All right, Griffith, what'd you get for initiative?
7.
Vi.
16.
Cantriel.
17.
Talmud.
I got an 8.
And my twig blights got a 20, a dirty 20. So the twig blights are actually going to attack first. There are 5 of them, and they're actually going to attack. One is going to attack each of you, and I'm going to roll randomly to see who the 5th one is going to attack. That looks like Vi is getting attacked. So, Griveth, who did you end up interposing yourself between?
I was trying to stand in front of Vi.
Okay, so
can hers attack me?
I was gonna say yeah, that would then instead attack you. So you're gonna get attacked by 2 of the twig blights. Everybody else is gonna get attacked by 1. Griveth, 12 misses you. About a 16.
No hit.
There's just the sound of light wood, almost like somebody throwing kindling at your shield, and scrabbling. Vi, one of these things scrambles past Griveth, and oh man, Vi, tonight is your Talmud night. That is a crit.
Can I have it re-roll?
Curse you, domain dice!
No, I'm using my shield, my defense.
Oh, you're using defense to force the re-roll.
Mm-hmm.
Even better. Spending your ability instead of the domain die. I was going to say, if I roll a nat 20 again, does an 11 hit you, Vi? This thing just kind of gets in, and it gets kind of caught up on Griveth's shield and kind of gets battered out of the way as it comes in towards you. Cantriel, one comes at you. Does a 15 hit?
Yep.
You didn't see it coming. It kind of scrambled in behind you, and as you were crouched down near Vi, you feel across your back just this piercing of 5 points of piercing damage as the twig blight jams its wooden fingers into the small of your back. And Talmud, how does a 19 do for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
And this finds a chink in your armor. You take 4 points of piercing damage as these things are on you. It is now... Put this out where I can see it. It is now... Cantriel.
I'm assuming the one is directly on top of me, correct?
Wait. Because Cantriel, Talmud, and Griveth, Vi, you guys were all surprised.
Right.
So you actually don't get to go on this round.
Okay.
Vi would normally be 3. You don't get to go yet. You notice, though, and Griveth, actually, you're the only one with that perception that notices this, as the skeletons all stop working and begin moving towards your group. But they are far enough away that they only get about to within about 20 feet of all of you in this round. But they're definitely coming towards you with shovels and rakes raised.
So I feel like they're threatening us, right?
Oh yeah, they look like an angry mob.
Okay.
As soon as the twig blight started attacking you, the skeletons started attacking you. Talmud, you would normally go here, but surprise. So Griveth, last in the order, but actually second in this round. Griveth, you get an action.
I call on Eldath! So I call down the power of Eldath. Give my friends the power of probability. So basically, you all are blessed, and you get an extra D4 you can add to an attack or a saving throw.
All right. So that's your action to cast that spell?
Yes.
Fantastic. Back to the top with the twig blights. 2 on Griveth. A 10 is going to miss you. And that 5 is definitely going to miss you. These things are battering themselves, not violently enough to hurt themselves, but these little, like, 18-inch, 2-foot-tall saplings are just smashing into your shield to no effect. Cantriel, one takes a swipe at you, superficially scraping at the small of your back, not enough to do any damage. Talmud, that's a crit. As this one that found its way with the one hand, it reaches in kind of around your greaves, up on your thighs. It sunk its fingers in and found purchase with that first attack, and it's pulling at your armor, and it sinks its little tiny claws in for the second attack. So a crit is automatic max damage of 5 plus 1 more roll. So
Am I close enough to deflect?
Not with you being where you were for well, actually, because you can. How does that work? Do they have to be within 5 feet of you, or?
Yeah.
He's outside of that range, I think.
Okay. Use a domain die.
Now you could do that, or you could take 7 piercing damage. Your choice.
I'm gonna take it.
Okay. So it kind of pulls at your armor, and you just feel right in that same spot. Another 7 piercing damage from this thing. And then the one that's at you, Vi, wow. It uses this round, like where Griveth knocked it aside the last time. It's sort of swiping at you, but it's kind of picking itself up off the ground. That was only a 5. It's weakly attacking. This time, Cantriel, you do actually get an action.
All right, cool. This is the one thing I don't like about sleep. I'm trying to translate it again because I want to put a whole bunch of them to sleep.
So you just have to roll the dice pool.
Yeah, it's 5d8, and the total is how many hit points of creatures the spell can affect.
And it starts with the lower hit points.
Right.
So, because I'm just thinking, does that avoid your... Does it target your friends?
I think it does.
I think it does as well.
I don't think any of us are in danger of having the same number of hit points as twig blights.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
No, you feel pretty confident that the twig blights. The only one that might be in danger is Vi, having just taken a nasty fall. But I mean,
well, within 20 feet of a point you choose within a range. So if my back is to her, shoot it out towards the blights and skeletons.
The blights are all
they're
up in your. They're all mixed up in you.
Right.
The skeletons are outside of your range.
Oh, grand.
Sorry, phrasing.
No, it helps.
I see Jeremy just cracking up over there.
Well, then I'm going to I guess use my rapier to try and cut this little blight in half.
All right, roll an attack.
Let's do an attack.
Don't forget, you guys are blessed.
Right, with the extra d4. Okay, so let's see here. That is going to be a 14.
Yeah, that is going to hit the twig blight.
Okay, and then that is going to be, and this is without the bless, it's going to be 11 points of damage.
You absolutely just almost instinctively get up, spin around, and swat at this twig blight, and it just shatters into kindling. That is one less twig blight.
Happy little sucker.
Vi, you're currently engaged with one blight.
Vi is going to stand up, and while she's doing so, she is going to quickly reach into her bag and take out a bunch of these berries and leaves, and she's going to pop them into her mouth. And she's just using healer's kit on herself to heal herself even more.
All right, what is that again?
It's 1d6 plus 4.
Little combat medicine. And that's an action to do that. So it is 1, 2, 3. Oh, the skeletons are now moving into range. There are 6 total skeletons who are coming up to attack you. And where did it go? Okay, just need to double check there what they could do. The skellies are... Okay, perfect. So they are going to attack. They're basically going to spread out to attack all of you. 2 of them are going to double up on Griveth and Talmud. Nope, and Cantriel. So Cantriel and Griveth, you each have 2 skellies on you. So Griveth, a crit and a 9. I'm assuming you're saying domain die.
Yeah,
you're
9
muted.
misses and reroll the crit. Yeah.
All right, so I'll re-roll that crit, and that's jacked. It landed on top of 3 other dice. That was weird. So that is a 9 and a 5. As they come towards you, a shovel and a rake clatter against your shield. Clang! Cantriel, 2 skellies attack you for a 7 and a 19.
7 misses, the 19 hits.
As one swings out with his shovel, you take 3 points of bludgeoning damage as it slams into your shoulder. Talmud and Vi, a 6 and a 7. They basically are just swinging at you and completely missing. As these, you can hear their bones rattling, and they're kind of. Talmud, there's almost this. As you kind of just. And the shovel swings past your face. Vi, you see a rake swing in front of your head as you just miss that. Or rather, get missed by that. I keep moving my thing with all the initiatives. Talmud, you're up.
Talmud, having just kind of leaned back out of the way of this this kind of lazy swing of this shovel by this skeleton, and still has this blight almost like climbing on him. He pulls Gerta off of his back. He says, "I'm not sure which one I want to hit first. I think it's probably you." And he's going to turn around and almost kind of like golf swing. It's like swing the head of the hammer down real low to the ground to try to hit this blight.
All right.
That is a. Ooh, do I want to re-roll it? Oh, I've got the bless. Thank you, Jesus Griffith. All right. That is 17 to hit.
That's gonna hit.
Yes. All right. That's gonna be 10 and 4 is 14 points of bludgeoning damage.
You completely obliterate this twig blight with this golf swing. It's there 1 second. All that's left are the two little claws that were grabbing in your armor that just look like two small branches sticking out of your greaves.
Excellent. Yeah.
And Griveth, you're up. You are currently engaged with 2 twig blights and 2 skeletons.
All right, I say, friends, prepare to strike. So I look over at Cantriel and I see she's in pretty big trouble, but Cantriel, you also see that he's kind of like his eyes are kind of saying, I'm gonna call on the power. So, help me if I, do what you need to do if I lose control. So I allow the power in me. I allow Eldath to come inside me, and I say a curse to these undead beasts. I say, water, cleansing waters of Eldath, wash over this filth, send them back to the pit. And he throws out a stream of god power, and the skeletons have to flee from me. Unless they make a save.
I was gonna say I believe that's a wisdom saving throw they get. I assume you're just straight up channeling or turning undead.
Yes. So they have to move 30 away from me. So my DC is 12.
DC 12 wisdom for a skeleton. I feel like they're pretty low. Okay.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. That's 13. I'm sorry.
All right, that's fine. I'm going to roll all 6 of them at once. 2, 3, 4, 5. Grab one more D20 here. Crystal clear one. There we go. All 6 D20s at once. So that is a 4, a 4, an 8, an 18, and a 19. So
Ooh.
2 of the skeletons stand their ground. Now I'm going to randomly roll to see which ones stand their grounds.
I was going to say, could I make the power radiate from me out greater to the edges and keep kind of control which ones are flee? Like the ones that the 2 that are still on me stay on me.
I'm going to say, because you've kind of made it canon that you're struggling to control these abilities, that no, you don't have that control. Not yet.
Right. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
But this, depending on how this plays out, could be something that puts that in your mind that you may want to work on that. So
friends strike as they run. So can everybody get an attack of opportunity as they run away?
They would anyway, yeah, because they're going to turn and flee. So one of the ones on Cantriel, the one on Talmud stays. I keep mixing it up. Scotty's 1, Griveth is 1, Vi is 2, Talmud is 3, Cantriel's 4. Talmud, your Skelly stays. And Griveth, one of the ones on you stays. You do get an opportunity to attack each of you, except for Talmud, because you're stayed. Cantriel, you got to choose which of the 2 you're gonna, attack. And Griveth, you get to attack 1, and Vi, you get to attack 1.
I got an 18.
That's a hit.
That is 2 damage.
I got a 24.
It misses. No, it hits. It definitely hits.
I was going to say it. And there's one on each side?
Yeah, you got 2 of them, but you can only attack one of them.
Right. Right. So I guess I'll just go for the one to the left first.
Okay.
And that is going to be 9 points of damage.
Let's see. You knock its right arm off, but it's still standing.
Of course it is.
Talmud, yours still stayed. Griveth, what'd you get on yours?
I got a 15.
It's a hit?
Yep.
And the damage?
7.
7. Okay. So, let's see. Ran. Stayed. Ran. Stayed. Ran. Okay. I'm tracking 4 PCs and 9 enemy combatants. Oh my gosh. Okay. So that was your action to cast Turn Undead. So that means it is back to the top of the order with the blights. So who was it? It was Cantriel that killed the blight. 2, 5, and Telm. Okay, Cantriel and Telm. Okay, there we go. All right, so Griveth, you got 2 on you still. That is a 7 and a 19. You're muted again.
Sorry, 19 is a hit.
Yep. So you're gonna take, as one finally gets through, you're gonna deal 4 points of piercing damage as it sneaks around your shield. So those were the 2 on you, and then the 1 remains on Vi, and that is a natural 9. So that's a 12 to hit you, Vi. Does 12 hit you? So again, it fails to hit you. So that's the blights. Cantriel, you're up again. 1 skelly stayed nearby. No, wait. Yeah.
2?
Hold
I thought
on.
it was 2 on me. Oh wait, no, the one was running away.
Yes, one of them ran away.
Okay.
One that was on me stayed, and one of the ones on Griffith's.
Oh, wait, you are right. That's what was confusing me. I marked it wrong.
So there's no skeletons by me now?
No, you have no skeletons by you. Yeah, I can't read my own notes. The arrow means they left. Cantriel, you have a nothing. You are engaged with nothing.
I have a nothing. Is there anything near me that I can engage with?
Oh, there's all kinds of stuff. Talmud has a skeleton on him. Vi has a twig blight attempting to hurt her.
I'm going to attempt to kill the blight.
Okay.
And
smite the blight.
Smite the blight. Smite the blight. And that's going to be a 12. Oh, I have the bless thing. Can I put that in?
Yeah, you can put it in.
Yeah, okay. So then 14.
Good. Because you missed without the bless.
I think I remembered. Okay, so then it is going to take...
As Eldath compels your blade.
Take 7 points of damage.
You obliterate another blight. The one that was on... Vi, you just see this blight that was struggling to attack you as Cantriel just pierces at it with her rapier, splintering it into pieces.
And I'm going to look at Vi and be like, you may appreciate nature, but right now I really don't.
And it's your turn, Vi. You are currently not engaged with any enemies. But there are 2 blights and a skelly on Griveth, who is nearby.
Vi is going to turn and with her staff go towards the skeleton that's on Griveth and try and hit it.
Excellent. Roll the attack.
It's a 25.
That's a hit.
Doing 6 points of damage.
And as you smack into it, you break 2 of its ribs as you smash it right in the chest with your staff. I'm sorry, that was how many points of damage? 6.
Yeah, 6.
But it is still standing. Oh, that's the skeleton's turn. So the skeleton is engaged with Griveth, but Vi has just attacked it. So let's see. Evens is Griveth, odds is Vi. This one has a shovel that it swings and misses your head, Vi. And then... So that was that one that you just hit. And there's one with Talmud, and the others have run. Talmud, your skeleton, as it goes to swing at you with its, this one has a rake. As it kind of takes it almost like a quarterstaff, it takes a step, and you hear a snap as one of its lower leg bones snaps. And it's distracted for a moment as it looks down, and you get an opportunity attack. That was a critical fail. Critical fails almost... Narratively, if it makes sense, critical fails will result in an opportunity attack. So, you get an opportunity attack on that thing.
Well, I may not have been ready. I got an 11 total.
You weren't quite ready. As it turns to look at its one broken bone, it kind of bends down as you swing Gerta around and just whiff. The other skeletons...
Wait,
what?
I didn't add the blessed to that.
Oh.
Oh, that's only a 12.
Yeah, you whiff.
Okay.
The other skellies that ran, the 4 of them, you see as 2 of them head, you can now kind of get a look at this. You can see in the far northeast corner of the room, on the east wall, there's a door, a wooden door banded in iron. And 2 of the skeletons are like fighting each other, scrambling at the latch, and then they get it open and they run through the door, leaving it partially ajar. The other 2 head through a breach in the northern wall toward that same corner. This breach is about 10 feet wide and about 10 feet high, and has natural rock walls leading to a natural rock cavern beyond it. And they basically just get the hell out of there from Griveth's frightening presence of Eldath. So that ends the Skelly's turn. Talmud, it is now your actual turn, and you still have this skeleton that you just missed.
Good God. I'm gonna spin another domain die.
Did you bless?
Yeah, it's not gonna help unless I reroll that d20. Oh. So that is a with the bless of 14 to hit.
That just hits. Actually, it doesn't just hit. It more than hits.
Well, then I am going to more than damage him. That's 9 and 4 is 13 points of bludgeoning damage.
All right. How do you kill this skeleton?
He hadn't been turned by the power of Griveth's divinity. So Talmud had just finished killing this other blight with the kind of a golf swing. So he kind of uses the momentum of his swing and actually uses that to actually spin around one full turn. And as he does so, he just kind of just carries it through laterally. And it actually just slides right in between the pelvis and the rib cage of this skeleton and just sends like that, collection of vertebrae just like flying across the well to hit the stone wall and scatter out the other side. And the two pieces just kind of collapse down on top of themselves with a pile.
Excellent. Skeleton down. All right. Griveth. You still got the one skelly that Vi just broke a couple of its ribs is standing right next to you. And you have a single twig blight standing next to you.
Okay. Seeing everybody doing so well has bolstered my courage, and I am going for the skeleton. So here we go. Ooh, 21 to hit and 8 damage.
How do you destroy this skeleton?
Okay, so I bring my Morning Star up. It's slow motion. It smashes into the head. The head just explodes into a bunch of shards, just whizzing, out from the impact. The mace just carries right down the vertebrae, right down the spine, splitting the ribs in half. The ribs go flying in opposite directions. It smashes through the pelvis, and the legs kind of stand there for a minute, and then they go.
I love it. I love it. And I misspoke. There's actually still 2 twig blights on you.
Oh, okay.
You were the one that everybody was ganging up on.
Right.
And it is the twig blight's turn, and they are both going to attack you, Griveth.
Mm-hmm.
Double 4s. So that's they both get a 7. They both attack at you kind of right around the same moment that you shatter this skeleton. And the 2 twig blights just look up at your form with the bone dust settling around them after missing their attacks on you. And they both just turn and start to run away. Vi and Griveth, you each get an opportunity attack because you're in range. Make sure you're on mute so we can hear you, Scotty.
Ooh, shoot. Okay, I got a 23 to hit.
All right.
And a 11 damage.
And how about you, Vi?
I got a 13 to hit.
It's a hit.
With 4 damage.
Simultaneously, the 2 of you, Griveth, you just kind of almost continue your motion with this flail, this Morning Star, just from the skeleton. You bring it down, and where there was a twig blight, there's just a couple of splinters, like toothpicks, just. And at that same moment, in unison with you, Vi, you bring your staff down on the other twig blight, obliterating its main trunk. Its 2 little twig blighty arms and legs just kind of spill to the ground. All of the skeletons are gone. All of the twig blights are gone. There's this moment where the only sound in this chamber is the reverberating echo of your weapons that have struck. You're breathing as you're all sort of just breathing a little extra from the exertion. Vi still injured a bit. A couple others, Cantriel and Talmud, both took a few points of damage. Griveth may not have noticed his as much, but he took a couple points. And as you, just for a few seconds, you're breathing heavily from the exertion of the fight, you hear from that northern cavern where 2 of the skeletons ran through that breach in the wall, you hear,
"It took you long enough to get your asses down here. This time, I will get the upper hand."
and you see emerging from this cavern. First, low to the ground, 4 glowing red eyes as 2 feral giant rats with metal collars around their necks and chains leading away from them emerge. They extend into the room as they are straining against their chains and their collars, coming into the room for about 10, then 15 feet. And then the figure holding their chain leads comes into the room. You recognize this bugbear as the Bernal, the bugbear that was tending to Calstrix, the white dragon wormling, that you basically you let him escape before you could kill him. He ran off into who knows where and apparently didn't stick around with the hobgoblins. The only real difference is he is wearing a crude Hamlet? A crude Come on, Jake, ruin your narrative. A crude helmet that it looks like a battered iron helmet, and crudely lashed to it are antlers, as he wears this helm of antlers. And he drags behind him this heavy wooden club with iron spikes pounded through it. I am going to enjoy tearing you apart this time. He pulls tightly on the leads. At this point, he's a good 50 feet from all of you. He real quickly pulls tightly on the leads of the 2 rats, and he says, "Grip, Fang, let's do this." And as he pulls them towards him, he shoves a glass bottle into each of their mouths. You hear the crunching of glass, and you can see this sort of greenish liquid seeping past their jaws, but their disgusting bloated tongues are lapping up the rest of it. He pulls another bottle, continuing to take steps towards you slowly, and you watch as the 2 rats and Bernal, the bugbear, all 3 of them grow to twice their size. And that is where we are going to end tonight's session. And it is 100% coincidence, Megan, that Bernal is wearing an antlered helm. But make of that what you will. That's why, if you watch that point in the stream where you described that that flashback scene, that amazing flashback scene, my eyes actually kind of briefly just, there's a tell there where I was like, oh shit, this ought to be interesting. So there you have it, session 8, down in a hole of the Sunless Citadel not so mini campaign.
No.
Oh man, Jeremy Berger in the chat says, can we call this episode Weekend at Bernal's?
Yeah, that's the next one.
You know what, Jeremy? That's canon. That is now episode 9. I will do that. I will call episode 9. I'm going to make a note of that on my card here. Weekend at Bernal's. I love it. Oh man. So this is why this mini campaign, and this is not a complaint, obviously, we've talked offline about this a lot. This is why this mini campaign is taking so long, is in the last 2 hours, you guys have made it through 2 rooms. You managed to take a rest, climb down a well, and get in a fight with a bunch of sticks and bones.
To be fair, we also ate
Yeah,
breakfast.
there was
And
definitely
we made
the
Griffith
whole.
stop floating.
Yeah, there was the whole thing. Thank you, Knasis has given us 5 stars in the chat. Yeah, I just want to say a quick shout out. Thank you again to the audience, as always. Super shout out to our friend JT D&D DM, who dropped 1,000 bits on Twitch and $20 in the super chat on YouTube. Personally responsible for 6 of the domain dice that you guys used. If I remember correctly, you started this session with 12. Went up to 18 and are now at 13. So you used 5 of the 6 domain dice that Jason bought you guys tonight. And I know you were joking about that being a plot fall, Jeremy, but I just thought it was amazing that there were at least 3 attempts to for Vi and others to try to help her. And they all just miss. For the record, I set the DC at 15 for that. And I think the closest was Talmud, got a 14. And I almost pulled the punch on the fall. And I decided I'm just going to roll the 6 dice and see what happens. Because you're falling 60 feet. It's 1d6 per 10 feet. So, yeah. So I was saying, I just love, though, just even something as seemingly mundane as a rest. Honestly, I had no idea what the hell Scotty was doing at the beginning. I was frantically looking through I'm like, is this a feature? What's going on? But you were just role playing your level up, which I told you guys to do like way back the first time you guys leveled up. If you wanted to, that you could role play through. So that was wonderfully done. It's very rare that I don't have a clue what's going on. I can usually kind of piece it together, and I should have figured that out, that it was a level up. So well done. Fantastic from everybody around. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this session as much as I did. We're going to go ahead and, go around the table in reverse order this time, and go ahead and plug what you want to plug, and give us your final thoughts on the session before we get out of here tonight. So we're gonna start with Scotty.
Hey guys, unmute myself there. Wow, this is such a fun game, and yeah, we're kind of going at a snail's pace, but it's like it feels like that's okay, because it feels so great. It feels so real. I mean, it's so vivid in my mind, like what's going on, and it feels, the rules are there, it feels like the roles and the rules are there just to kind of help that along, as opposed to vice versa, where we'll put a little bit of story on the rules. It really feels that way in this game, and yeah, thanks for going along with my crazy thing about floating and all that stuff, and with Megan, like doing that was genius with the whole little ritual there that like psyched him out, figuring out what was going on, and that was just a fun little thing. Yeah, I was trying to do like the level up kind of thing.
Yeah, that was wonderfully done. Wonderfully done.
So I just thought it'd be fun, and I didn't want to do the same kind of rager thing that I did last time. I wanted to have some other kind of interesting
I love it.
effect. So yeah, sorry for taking all that time up.
No, I think before we go to Megan, I wanted to touch on a couple things from what you said. One is it perfectly fits the pacing of this game, because I said at the beginning, I will never rush you to just get on with a scene. Particularly since this is evolving into a more in-depth campaign, I want you guys to be able to explore your characters, to take time to learn things about who you are, both as players, as DM, for the audience as well, to get these little glimpses, Griveth, I think, because we don't know, nobody really knows a whole lot about where he's come from, because he doesn't talk about it. we're seeing Griveth unfold in these scenes as he comes into the power of Eldath. And I think that's amazing. So I think that's awesome to do that organically through these sessions like this. And, you know, yeah, something that kind of occurred to me is technically you guys have only been on this adventure, aside from the long rest, you've only been on this adventure for a few hours. The long rest puts you guys at you've maybe been down here for, you know, 10 or 12 hours. So some could argue, well, then how the hell are they level 4? But we're using a modified milestone XP that I take into consideration the RP as well as, you know, it's not common. I never once look at XP values of, it's why I do milestone. I don't look at the XP values of the monsters and stuff, because that's not how we're determined. If we did that, you guys would be level 1 still. You would have died. This session would have been 5 sessions long and you guys would have been killed. This way, the modified XP is kind of based on hours that you play. You guys have hit 4, so it'll take longer for level 5 to come and level 6 and stuff. But I personally like the pacing that this is going at. It never feels like it's going too long. I don't care. I was joking, you know, I don't care that you guys made it through 2 rooms. You guys don't seem to care about that. It's the pace that it's moving at, and it's my job to figure out how we're gonna, you know, if it's gonna be a cliffhanger, or maybe there's a little bit of last session you defeated the bosses and you got to rest. This session, yeah, there's a cliffhanger. An enemy that you almost defeated has returned, and he's literally bigger and badder than before. So you have a week to think about that. But yeah, I definitely really like what each of you are doing to explore your characters, and doing it within this context. So, and it sounds like the folks that are sticking around for these entire episodes and that are watching it, and even people, I get comments on YouTube as people watch these at a later time. People are loving this game. They're loving the NPCs. They're loving your characters. They want to learn about your characters as much as we do, as much as each of us does, and I do. So I love everything about this game. So with that, we'll drop down to Megan. Plug what you want to plug and final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I can really add much more, because everything everyone has said all throughout the games, I completely echo 100%. This game is awesome to play, and it's crazy how much, you know, no matter how much like your life might, your actual life might, you know, be stressful and stuff, it's just getting into a game and being able to play with people and being able to escape into that is just so amazing. So it's always such a blast, and Thursdays I always look forward to. So, and also Sundays and Mondays.
I know. I hear you, Megan. It feels weird to say it, because I love our Chult game. I love our Waterdeep game. I love the one-shots we play and some of the other games that I play in. But this game has just become a sweet spot for me. It's become, because, as we've said many, many times before, it touches on everything. The deep role play, the beer and pretzels, we allow table talk, we interact with our audience, we have this level of interaction during the game with the audience through domain dice. That kind of opened the door to it, but that's why I don't mind, you know, saying mid-game something that somebody said in chat, a joke or something like that, because that's this game's dynamic. It hits all these things, and it's what makes this game where I feel comfortable saying this is my favorite game right now. I love all my other games, but this one is, I love Thursday so much. So that's a Scotty giving a virtual hug. So with that, we'll pop over to our St. Talmud, patron of the poor dice rolls. Well, actually, your dice were a little bit better for you tonight.
A little here and there. A couple of them behaved. Yeah. I already plugged the channel. Everything pretty much has already been said. Like I play a lot. I've played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons over the years, and I play a lot currently online and in person. And I have a lot of really great games that I get to be a part of. So yeah, I don't say it lightly at all that this game is definitely high on my list. I love this game so much, and I look forward to each and every session. Not only getting to dive deeper into my own character, but also learning about the rest of these seriously fucked up individuals and kind of what all brought them all together. How in the world this many people ended up in the same vicinity of one another. But I enjoy the way that is the baggage that everyone has is shaping everyone else's character, and that's really, really fun and exciting to be a part of. It keeps me on my toes, and as a player, I can't ask for anything more, because it keeps me deeply rooted and deeply invested in what's going on. So I'm very, very thankful that I got to be a part of this game. So thank you again, Jake.
Well, and I'm thankful that you could be a part of it as well. I do want to say, Jeremy Berger also says in the comments a few minutes ago, you got to believe that this is what Gygax wanted. I like to think Gygax would look down on our game and be pretty happy with what we're doing. So V, final words.
Holy shit. No, I got to tell you, Thursdays, I truly look forward to them. And even though I have like a doubleheader day because I play a game in the afternoon, I love the fact that Friday morning I wake up with that almost hungover feeling of what a ride and how great it is. And it's, it's one of those things where as we get closer and closer to Thursday, I get more and more excited because I just love the interactions we have here and with the chat activity and everything like that. I mean, it's like the perfect storm of just enjoyment and play and escape and fantasy and everything like that. So I absolutely adore it.
I feel like this is the one game that I think I would have to be extra sick to not actually run it.
Yeah.
Because I know there's so much audience investment and just everybody involved, and not to say that again that I don't care as much about my other games, but it's just this one. This is the one where I'm like, oh man, I really, really don't want to be sick. Yeah, this is just, I just love everything about this. I love everybody in the chat. Good. I'm gonna give a quick shout out if he's still here. I know he was a few minutes ago. Nelson from Infinite Roleplay.
He was in both chats, so hopefully.
Here's the thing about Nelson. I don't remember the exact date, but coming up in November will mark now technically it's like a year earlier if you look at the video history, but because I had like 2 videos on this channel a year before I started to actually officially do mini terrain domain stuff. But in November of 2014, I posted my first crafting video, how to make miniature spiders. Because I had posted some mini spiders I posted on the what used to be DM Scotty's Crafts and Games, and is now the Tabletop Crafters Guild. And Nelson said, dude, you need to show us how you made those, because if you don't do it, I'm going to do it. And I had been planning to start to launch my channel in January of 2015. So Nelson put me on the spot, and I real quick set a tripod over my shoulder with my camera, crappy lighting, old school DM Scotty yellow legal notepad as my backdrop as I'm painting and building this thing. And I believe to date it is my most watched video with tens of thousands of views on it. But it was because of that prodding of Nelson that this November, Mini Terrain Domain celebrates 4 years as an active channel, where over now 8,400 plus subscribers, getting close to 8,500. And as I keep saying, when we hit 9,000 subscribers on the channel here, I'm going to make an announcement about a giveaway for 10,000 subscribers. So we've still got a little under 600 subscribers to go for that. But I'm going to start doing some promotional stuff here in the next couple months with some things I got going on to drum up some more subs there so that y'all can get a chance at something cool coming towards you. But yeah, I just love doing this, running these games, doing the crafting, sharing the crafting with everybody, and just this group here. But I saw Nelson in the chat, and I wanted to give him that shout out. He just said he got in trouble for linking my video in a Discord. All right. Getting red flags on you for Renegade posting. I love it, Nelson. But yes, I love all of you in the chat. I love all four of you. You make my Thursdays. And I'm glad we're friends, and I'm glad we get to game together every Thursday. And if you guys don't mind, I'm going to actually announce for the people still in the chat what we just recently decided in our own chat. So Sunless Citadel is rapidly coming to a close. Well, not rapidly. At the pace they're moving right now, it may go another 5 or 6 sessions. We know that we're kind of on the downslope of this mini campaign. But we have already decided that the Sunless Citadel will not be the end of this gaming group. When this Sunless Citadel campaign is done, it's going to basically roll into Sunless Citadel 2, the Forge of Fury. I'm not sure what exactly we're going to call it. We'll have to come up with like a series name or something, but we are going to continue with the second adventure in the Tales from the Yawning Portal, which is the Forge of Fury. There are some connections between what has happened with our characters and that particular story that naturally tie them together, and we all want to keep playing together. So this Thursday night adventure will continue. So with that, thanks everybody for being here. We're going to go ahead and break on out of here, but there's one more thing we got to do before we can go. And that is, and you can say it with me if you want to, a big old mutator.